Hello, this is Dr. Alan Yim. Today I'm going to show you quickly how to use half steps to create all of the intervals. So an interval is just a distance from one note to another note. It could even be the same note. So that would be a unison. And this, maybe you could recognize that, is a perfect fifth. I'll start by showing you the smallest. So on the piano, this is a minor second, major second, minor third, and so on. So first I'm going to show you the order as you increase the size. So let's take a look at what this looks like in a little chart here. So on the left I have the number of half steps, and I'm just going to title these. So this is a unison, this is a minor second, major second, and I'm going to abbreviate lowercase m, third, minor third, major third, perfect fourth. The next one is an augmented fourth. So when we make a perfect interval bigger, we'll learn this. It's an augmented fourth. There's the plus sign for augmented, and then this is also equivalent to a diminished fifth. We don't use those too often. Perfect fifth, minor sixth, major sixth, minor seventh, and major seventh. And I guess I should put over here, when we get to 12, that's an octave. Okay? And an octave is perfect octave. Now, the major, the minor, the perfect, augmented, and diminished, I'll be talking about in a separate video. And I'll be talking about how we can create, well, I think maybe I'll do this now. We can talk about how we can get from one of these to the other type, okay? There are many names for each one of these intervals, so let's take a look at how they're related. If you have a minor interval and you make it one bigger, so over here, we can increase it by half steps, or we can make it smaller by half step. Minor becomes major. Major becomes augmented. And then on the other side, minor, if you make it a half step smaller, becomes diminished. Okay. And if you have a perfect interval and you make it one half step bigger, it becomes augmented. That's why when you take a perfect fourth and you make it bigger, it becomes an augmented fourth. And if you make it one smaller, so if we were to make that perfect fourth smaller, it would become a diminished fourth. Alright, so we now know a little bit about these relationships. To give you an example here, let's suppose I play a major third like this. This is a C to an E, and I make it one smaller. That major third will become, so minor. Again, I started here with major, and I made it one smaller. And if I do that, it becomes minor. If I make that minor one smaller, it becomes what sounds like a whole step, a major second. But in this case, since I've been going from major and making it smaller, I would call that a diminished third. Okay? Let's go back to major third. Alright? A major third, which if you look in the chart is 4 half steps, and we're going to count from the first one. So this is C. 1, 2, 3, 4. So C to E, counting up 4 half steps. If we go up another half step, then we're going to have C to F. Now you may say, well, that sounds like a perfect fourth, and indeed it does. It's exactly like a perfect fourth. But in notation, we would call this an augmented third. Alright? Why? Well, I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to stop. So, take a look. Here we are in C major. I played this to start with. Okay, if you count the half steps in this with this equal to 1, okay, so where you start, C equals 1. And then you're going to count to 4. So 2, 3, 4. This is C sharp, D, whoops, did I do this right? Let me erase this. I did not do this right. Let me try this again. Alright, we're going to count C as, so we're going to count 4 half steps. C is equal to 0. What am I doing here? Now, this is just goes to show you that I don't do it this way normally. Okay, C sharp equal to 1. D is equal to 2. D sharp is equal to 3. And then E is equal to 4. So that's how we know, looking back at this chart, 4 half steps, major third. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's that major third. If we want to make it one bigger, like this, so it's C to E sharp, then we're going from the major, one bigger. We're going to call this an augmented third. How is that different from a perfect fourth? Well, a perfect fourth looks like this. Alright, in the next video I'm going to talk more about this, but be careful because you have to look at the number, and each of these intervals has a particular look. We're counting the number first, so one number of basically notes, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and on the left it's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go into more detail this in the next video, but for now you can take a look at this and see what the intervals are based on the number of half steps. See you in the next video.